Hello, my name is Bill. I'm the pastor at Freedom's Lutheran Church in Gibsonville, North Carolina. Thank you for joining me for this time of devotion together. I was thinking this morning about seeing Jesus at work in our world. And sometimes for me, it's very, very hard to see Jesus at work in the world. Maybe it is for you too. And I began thinking, well, why? Why is it so hard? Because the truth of the matter is that Jesus is always at work in our world. He's the one who's helping, He's the one who is guiding. He is the one who is present with people when they need comfort. He is the one who is inspiring people, awakening creativity in people so that they can overcome problems. He's the one who gives confidence to people as they move out into the world and face unknowns and face challenges. Jesus is always at work in our world, but we don't always see it. Why? Why is that? And I think the problem oftentimes for me, maybe it's the same for you, has to do has to do with my expectations. How do I expect to see Jesus at work in our world? That was true for John the Baptist. John the Baptist was the one who had baptized Jesus. He knew that Jesus was the one who is the Messiah, that is, the one who is entering in the world with the power and the authority of God to make a difference. And he expected some things of the Messiah. He expected Jesus at least to kick out Rome and use his power for some grand display of God so that the nations might know that God is resting there in Israel and is with the Hebrew people. But then Jesus does something very, very different. Jesus, instead of kicking the Romans out, actually welcomes Romans, welcomes Gentiles, that is, non-Jewish people, into his presence. And instead of using his power in grand displays, Jesus then chooses to limit using God's power simply to heal the sick and to meet needs of the poor along the way. This isn't what John expected. This isn't what he signed up for. So when he's in prison, he sends some of his disciples to Jesus. And they ask him what John had asked them to tell Jesus. Are you the one? Are you the one who's come to save Israel, or are we to wait for another? And it's here in Luke chapter 7 that Jesus gives his response. I just got to find it here. I should really mark it better. There we are. There we are. Okay, Luke chapter 7. And he responds here in verse 22. And Jesus answered John's disciples, "Go and tell John what you have seen and heard. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised. The poor have the good news brought to them. And blessed is anyone who takes no offense at me." In other words, what he was saying was, yes, indeed, I am the Messiah. I am the one. But John's expectations of Messiah had to change, which begs the question then, what do we expect of Jesus? How do we expect Jesus to answer our prayers? And then do our own expectations really limit our eyesight, limit us being able to see Jesus in the world? Because the truth is, Jesus is at work in our world. He's the one who's guiding, helping, inspiring. He's the one who's bringing healing and hope and even joy in the midst of any and every situation. So, my friends, I pray today that you look to spend time in Scripture and spend time with Jesus, asking Jesus what to expect of him, asking Jesus to reveal himself to you. And I can almost guarantee that if you come to Jesus in humility, confessing your blindness to his ways, that he will lay hands on you and open your eyes and make it so you're able to see him. And in the midst of the seeing, find true communion with him. And as you open up your heart, he will enter in just that much more deeper and work through you to bless our world. Thank you so much for spending this time with me in devotion. If you'd like to look at a different devotion, look us up on Facebook, Friedens Lutheran Church ELCA. There are some different written devotions there, little different format. We know some people like to look and see and hear. Some people like to read, so we offer that as well. And you can always check out other devotions, other things going on in our church at friedens.church, FRIEDENS.church. God willing, I look forward to spending time with you tomorrow.